Hi, this is Eden. Welcome to VentureGrab channels. Today we have the honor to invite Mr. Heislyc Loh to share with us about tech startup. So in this current pandemic, a lot of youngsters are looking for business opportunity. So whether this is a good time to start a tech business or a retail business, we're going to talk about it. So for your information, Mr. Heislyc Loh, he's the startup founder. He's the founder of Startup Mama. So he's also the boss of this Dave's Asia, which is a software development company. Today, we are going to share about youngsters nowadays, right? In this pandemic, what should you do? Whether you should work for others or start for your own business. If you start for your own business, whether you should start a tech startup or a retail business. In this session, we are going to discuss about whether entrepreneur, startup founder, how to actually make your business more successful by getting coaches, advisor, or mentor. Let's go to Mr. Heislyc. Hi Heislyc, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Eden. Thanks for having me.
Okay, Heislyc, today we are going to talk about the startup business. You know that in VentureGrab, we do have a lot of retail business, and then your side in Startup Mama, you do have a lot of startup business. So today we can actually discuss about this topic. We let the young entrepreneur out there understand whether this time, this pandemic moment, is this a good time to actually start a business or retail business. So let me ask you some questions. So first, Heislyc, nowadays, right, do you think that young entrepreneur nowadays, they prefer to do own startup or they prefer to work now currently?
I think most of us noticed that there's this article published maybe 2 months ago on a newspaper that from a survey, I don't know what's the sample size, there are a lot of young people hoping to start their own company. I think it's always a good time to start a business, but the factor is more about usually the timing and whether what is the business for, like what kind of solutions they're trying to develop or introduce to the market to solve what the market needs. A lot of young people, they may have the intention, but whatever their age, they probably underestimate the challenges and the barrier of entry for a new business to exist. A few things to consider: whether the market need what you are offering as an entrepreneur, whether how is the competition with whatever the company is creating or starting, whether it's the technology startups or retail startups, and what is the differentiator, a unique selling point that the new company can provide that other competitors couldn't. So most young entrepreneurs, they have the strong intention, have the curiosity, but a lot of time without guidance or without much resources or connection with the industry, they will need to deal with a lot of risks. I work with a lot of young people as well. I know this is sometimes their blind spots when it comes to starting a new company. They thought that what they want to build or introduce to the market is unique, which in most of the cases it is not. So the lack of studying the market or understanding what the industry already have or doesn't have, and they will waste a lot of time and energy and resources on the wrong things and not able to sustain it or not able to find enough customers to keep the business going.
Okay, Heislyc, you see nowadays, right, we can see that startup is a trend. Every people talk about starting your own business. As we know that in Startup Mama, you do have a lot of tech startup, okay, all kind, whether it's an online food delivery, online marketplace, or all kind of tech startup. But on VentureGrab, we do have a lot of retail business, which we are talking about coffee shop, cafe, boutique, all kind. So compared to one online and one offline business, so what do you think, what are the similarities or what are the differences in between these two types of startup?
Well, it's a very broad question, but let's talk about a few things that are definitely different from starting a technology company and starting a retail business. First of all, the startup capital, the initial capital to start a technology company usually is relatively small compared to starting a retail business. because for a retail business, you need to have a physical location, you need to have a rental of a space, and then you need manpower that you rely on a daily basis for the operations. And when you are starting a retail business, wherever you are, either there's a lot of competition. If there's no competition, it's something to worry about as well, because that means it has very low foot traffic. So different things to consider. When you are starting a technology startup, there are more opportunity for a younger team or a team with limited resources, because if we are building a software or a tool to solve a business problem, the software can be built in a relatively cheaper way, and you will spend more time and resources to continue to improve the software. But a lot of business ideas can be tested either by using existing tools and technology in the internet or in the market. I think other similarity is a business you still need to find customer. And for retail startup, location, it's usually very important to get right, because without people going to the place that you've set up, you won't get customer if your business is relying on physical walk-ins. And for technology startup, you need to use other ways to find customer. Either if it's a B2C, then probably need to invest and develop some kind of online marketing strategies and look into what is the cost to acquire each customer by investing $100 for advertisement or any online marketing activities. What does it mean in terms of sales or customer leads you can capture with it? So that is something that requires planning before and constant optimization of the cost by investing in online marketing and knowing how much it costs a company to acquire a customer. But for retail startups, if the entire strategy is relying on physical walk-ins, then location is the ultimate factor. But because we are in new normal now, I think retail companies should start to consider online strategies to combine with any of their offline presence. I think there's no escape for it. Any business that is relying on offline traffic should start to consider any kind of online customer acquisition strategies or content marketing to help sustain their brand presence. Otherwise, as an offline brand, they are usually easily forgotten, and it's hard for them to compete in the noise of other competitors who now offering delivery or offering ways to book or order for their products and services. I think any retail companies, again, shouldn't just rely on their offline presence to keep the business going. Furthermore, while all this of retail startups, it's probably looking at optimizing their costs, and that means they will have to be a lot smarter and strict with how they spend money for their offline expansion. So they will need other strategy to balance out their sales and how they attract more customers. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. You know, Heislyc, to me, I would think that the similarity when you come to do the tech startup, you need to do a lot of research and preparation before you start up, just like whatever retail traditional business. The differences is, if you look at that from a return point of view, I am thinking if from retail startup, maybe the return is actually immediate one. So for example, let us take a F&B as an example. Today, if you open a F&B restaurant, probably upon the opening, once you have the walk-in customer, you can actually generate the income immediately. So, but whereas if a marketplace, if you do the food delivery, it will take time first for you to build up the entire system. Secondly, for you to build the customer base. So that is the thing that I'm thinking the differences. So Heislyc, I would like to ask for your opinion also. You see nowadays, right, there are so many different types of software, like for example, the education, for example, marketplace. So in your opinion, will you encourage young entrepreneur to go and actually start up something which in the market already got existing or similar kind of services?
Well, as long as the market doesn't have a clear leader yet, then I would definitely encourage more attempts to enter the market. For example, I probably won't encourage anyone to start a ride-hailing company because we have a few giants already. But for things like edutech or healthcare and a lot more other categories. I don't think we have a strong leader in the space yet. So definitely more encourage anyone to enter the space. But when they do that, my advice is to spend enough time to understand who's already in the space currently. Even if there is not a leader yet, but who has been working in this space and serving customers, and whether they are doing good or not, or whether they have shut down without much people knowing. Because when you look at why other companies fail or why other companies is stagnant and not going anywhere, I'm sure there's a lot to learn from that. Because that's the one thing that I noticed most people actually don't spend enough time in understanding and researching of other competitors or companies that is doing similar things, that they should pay attention to them as well, because these companies may easily pivot or enter to the space that is similar, that will eventually compete with what the entrepreneur choose to do. But otherwise, more competition is always welcome, and I think most of the categories and industry that is ripe for disruption or hungry for more innovation, most of the industry is still underserved by better services or better variety or more cost-effective or more convenient product or services. Now that more technology is getting matured, including AI, and 5G is coming, it opens up a lot of opportunity for a lot of category or industry. So definitely encourage more young people to do it, but go in with eyes open, not just become part of the hype without putting the real efforts into building up the fundamentals.
I think what you're trying to say that you're actually encouraging those youngsters. You don't do because of others doing that. When you do that, make sure that you have the passion, you have the resources to do that. So Heislyc, you see, every founder, as we can see, a lot of startup founder, when they actually started it, they actually come with a big vision to strive for the success. But we can see also many in the market, right, that cannot even sustain for 1 year, then the business fail or close down already. So what do you think? What are the reasons behind all this?
Yeah, a lot of startups fail within their first year, first 3 years, or even first 5 years. A few things. Number one, they don't understand the market enough, and I can't stress this. I have to keep stressing this because when they don't understand the market enough, that means they are operating with a very limited information and knowledge within the industry, and without that, they are not able to respond to the customer needs, respond to what the market required, and also slow to respond to what their competitors is doing. When they are not responsive to all these customer, market, or competitor challenge, sometimes regulators, when you are working in a regulated industries, everything will slow down. When everything slows down, that affects the production or revenue generation activities. When all these are slowed down, that means the company will eventually run out of funding. So it becomes a vicious cycle. Another common keyword here is speed. Speed of gathering information, speed of knowing what the customer actually needs, speed of responding to market demand, speed of launching and developing the product. A lot of entrepreneurs, I think for them to stay long enough, the ability to keep going and having the resilience to be able to use the new information and make new decision and strategy to think about what's next or what I can do now when I run out of money, when the market doesn't need what I want. What is my current resource that I can make the best decision out of it to continue exist in the market? Shut down whatever that was done and keep trying new things. Most startup fails is because they run out of money. That's one thing. But what's worse than running out of money is they run out of strategy to continue with the team, with the business. They are too stubborn to change the strategy or plan to make money from other revenue streams or make from other operations to keep the business going. That's why they shut down. Right? Failure is for sure. All startups deal with failures on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, but do you call it a failure and shut down the company and say goodbye to your team, or do you just accept it and then just move on with dealing with the challenge and fight for another day? So I think that is the one thing that set apart companies that has kept on going, or company that just being forgotten within the first few years. Faith as a company, as a startup, Faith didn't start as Faith, right? They started with K-Fit. Most of us forgotten about it. K-Fit was the initial failure, but they didn't stop there. They very quickly, used whatever remaining resources and talents and team and ambitions that they have, and they gradually shut down K-Fit and started Faith. And Faith is still standing strong today. And recently, they closed another round of strategic partnership and investment. So this is a well-known startup among the community, and I just like us to be reminded that whatever the reason that caused failure, it is just another failure. If the founders or the team isn't committed enough, then everything else is secondary. If there's a will, there's a way. Yeah.
I totally agree with you on no matter how good is your business idea now, okay, you need to go through a period of the validation, and also you need to duplicate it in order to actually sustain until the business able to make you a stable income. Another thing that I think I totally agree with you, that I think founders have to see 6 months, 12 months, or even further. You have to see whether your current model is able to make money. If your current model unable to make money at this point of time, you should try to look for some other income source that able to generate income. So in order to keep the company or keep the entire business model is still survive. So Heislyc, I would like to ask another question. Do you think that the ability of the founder, or the validation of the business idea, founder and the idea, which is more important? In these both elements, which you think that it decide the successful or the future of the business?
Actually, there's two parts of the answer. For a particular business, for a particular idea, definitely the validation is extremely important. Otherwise, it's just an idea, right? It's not something that can be sustainable. So no matter what, any kind of validation or a deep understanding of customer needs, it's definitely required for the business to go far, right? And this is something that has to be constantly checked, because customer demand, market demand will change as well. Whatever customer want you for in the past 12 or 6 months might change down the road. But is it important to have a team that is capable as well? Definitely. There's a saying, if you give a B team with a world-class idea, the way they do it, they still suffers compared to an A team that works on a B-class idea. For a team to succeed, it doesn't matter what kind of idea they work on. But if you ask me what is most important for the startups, I wouldn't say a validated idea. I would say the most important thing for any startup or any business is to have the team with a shared vision. The leader don't just lead with the vision. You need to have a visionary in the team. But the whole team, the founding team and all, need to be able to align, constantly align, and have a shared understanding and alignment with the vision. And then the vision will lead the goals for the company, and the goals will lead the action of the team. Any team with a shared vision, I believe if you just throw them with any idea that is relevant to their vision, right? You can't expect a team that is not passionate for food to start a restaurant. I don't think that could be the case. But let's say for a team that is always passionate about helping people with their lifestyle or helping people with their family, then they'll probably make a great team for any type of service-based business or healthcare business. So that is what I meant by two parts of my answers. Any business should validate their idea by any means necessary. It is more important than the team's ability. I also believe that a founding team with a shared vision, let's say they want to change the world, but to specific how do you want to change the world? What do you want to do for the world? What do you want to offer by improving certain things or improving certain type of customers' life? That has to be clear and constantly be aligned within the team. Because without that, the business won't go far. The business will be impacted by a lot more challenge. Can you imagine like a team with the partners who, the partners A wants to retire in 5 years' time, and then the partner B actually wants to build this company and for as long as possible. They may want to list the company or not, but this partner B wants to build a lifetime business to serve multiple generations because he believes he needs so much. Like Jack Ma, he wants to build a 3-century company. If any of his partners actually do not align with that, then definitely will somehow be left in the process already. Because I believe in this case, Jack Ma as a visionary and a leader, he wouldn't allow someone like that to be in the team because there's a major misalignment. If everyone on the team thinks that they want to build a 3-generation company, then that's the shared vision that everyone should have. So do not underestimate the importance of aligning vision with the team, and it should always be communicated and should always be reminded and be clear within everyone's mind.
True. I myself personally, I'm actually truly 100% agree to this. I still remember when 12 years ago, when I started my business, never ever have any vision or mission. That time was all in mind just about survival on it. Yes, profit and loss, how to survive, how to actually make income. But after 12 years in business, I realized when you actually reach a certain stage, okay, where your business is there already, when you want to grow further, when your team is actually getting bigger and bigger, you need to recruit a lot more team members into it. And then if you want to build the business for long, you must have a vision that everyone is actually aligned to this vision and mission. Like in VentureGrab, our vision, we actually want to help the business owner to start and grow a business easier and faster. So I should continue to share this with my team and also our investor continuously. Heislyc, as you mentioned before, I remember that you mentioned before, and entrepreneurship cannot be taught. You cannot teach people how to become an entrepreneur, but it can be guided. Okay, in your opinion, is it important for the startup entrepreneur to have a mentor to guide them in their industry?
Definitely, it is about having someone to look up to reach out when you need advice. And when you are building a business, that's even more critical and important for us to have someone that we can reach out for advice, to be able to build relationship with someone who is more experienced and that is able to share with us perspective or insights, or just listen to us sometimes. Because building a business is really a lonely journey, very tough and challenging. So definitely it's important to have a mentor or some kind of advisor or coach for us. I'd like to share a bit on what do I view as differences between a coach, a mentor, and an advisor. It sounds like similar thing, but it could be very different as well. My view on the differences are, a coach can be someone that you pay for, that you hire professionally, someone that is able to keep track of your progress and help you to strategize a plan to improve. Advisor is also someone that you could secure, whether in exchange of certain instrument, like it could be a company share, it could be someone that you pay for, or anything. Advisor is someone that able to provide specific value to the company. Maybe someone that able to bring you a lot of industrial connection, or someone that is able to become the face of the company, let's say during fundraising exercise. So advisor come with certain commitment as well. And then for mentor, to me, it's the hardest to get. A mentor that you appreciate and respect, it's hard to come by because it takes relationship building so much more compared to an advisor that you recruit or coach that you pay for. It took me a while to understand the differences, and I just try to say that mentors are important for us in our life or when we do build business, and we do need to get different kind of mentors for different aspects of our life. It's not always about how we run business, it's also about how we are as a human being. And it takes some luck, or whether you could establish trust, mutual trust and respect with this mentor. So that's why it's hard to come by.
Okay, Heislyc, let me try to explain based on what you just explained. Correct me if I'm wrong. So to me, if you're talking about a coach, okay, maybe let me take as when you're learning golf, okay? You pay for a coach, then he teach you the step-by-step, the movement, how to stand, how to swing. This is the coach. It could be in, so when it comes to startup, like let's say we got many departments. It can be the IT part, it can be the marketing part, it can be the operation, or it can be the sales. So this is the coach in different expertise. When it comes to advisor, so probably I'll say advisor, maybe they are actually advising you from a higher level, more into a macro. You see from a higher level, you look down and then advise in different department or different angle. How should you look into the business and adjust your business strategy accordingly? Whereas the mentor, I also totally agree with you. Mentor is actually you need a relationship, someone with the experience in the industry. So when someone with the experience, they're actually good enough, they're clear enough to see whether your business model, whether it's right, whether it makes sense or not. They are more like an independent party to actually look into your business from the third party, which is the most accurate and genuine opinion. They don't care whether you like or don't like, they'll just tell you whether they think that your business is doable or not doable. Is that correct, that if you define like that?
Yeah, I will agree to that.
Okay.
Especially when you say having the independent view, and the difference with when we talk about having an independent view, the mentor is, he could be biased or he could be not biased, because the mentor is usually not directly involved with your business, whereas an advisor could be someone that is sitting in your board. So there will be certain bias compared with the advisor and the mentor. Yeah.
Okay, Heislyc, one more thing. This as we know that Startup Mama is a leading tech startup community in Malaysia. Can you share with us more about Startup Mama, and then how can Startup Mama actually assist the young entrepreneur in their tech startup, or if they need anything, or what kind of things that Startup Mama can help them, or even though your services into the software development?
Yeah, Startup Mama is a community, it's not a business, and we have a Facebook group that has been running for almost maybe in 2010, and then sometimes we organize meetup, but most of the time we just have the conversation in the Facebook group. Anyone is welcome to be part of it. It's there's no membership or something like that. I think it becomes a place that anyone that's interested in starting a business, especially tech business, startups, they can post their question there and participate in discussion and stay in touch with what are the startup related events or resources. So a lot of people will share such things in the group. And my main business is software development, outsourcing and consultancy. And I also run a startup coaching and launching program, which is Founder Institute. Right now, we are still recruiting for the 2020 cohort. We will close the application by mid-August. So Founder Institute, it's the program that I've been running since 2013. And that's where I spend a lot of time with startup founders and using the Founder Institute curriculum and with a pool of mentor that we recruit from the local and regional startup industry to guide the founders from idea to launching the company within 4 months. So it's a very intensive program. So that's why we have a very strict selection process. So I think Startup Mama as a community or Founding Still as a program are two of the resources that I encourage anyone to check out.
Okay, so thank you very much. So am I still eligible to join your Star Founder Institute?
You are eligible, but I think you know what to do already for your business.
Okay, thanks.
Keep it up, and thanks for having me today.
Thank you, Heislyc. Thank you for watching. Hope this session will share some useful information for you. If you'd like to understand anything about startup, anything about retail business, then come to VentureGrab. Put your message down there, comment down there. We will revert you as soon as possible. Thank you for watching and see you again.